Hello, welcome to another Daily Digest video. I'm Merriam. Today I am playing a white-red control deck. It's pretty reminiscent of a deck that Todd Stevens used to play a little while ago. He called it Sun and Moon. This is a little bit less prison-y. There's no Chalice of the Voids, but we've still got Blood Moon, a bunch of removal, a bunch of Planeswalkers, and hopefully be able to grind our opponent out with them. Hand looks pretty good here. We've got a Scry here to maybe find a removal spell on turn 2 if we need one, and then we can just Gideon, Blood Moon, Chandra them, and hopefully these Planeswalkers just carry the day. So definitely keeping this one. See what our opponent does. Might just Blood Moon them out too. And they keep 7. Wonder if I'm supposed to save this Temple for next turn just to get an idea of what my opponent's playing. Do I want to guarantee my 4th land this early? I don't know. Yeah, maybe I was supposed to just save the Temple. Because I do have a Wrath if they come out early with a bunch of creatures. Because I'm really not sure what I'm supposed to do with this Field of Ruin. I'm kind of thinking I need to bottom it. I think that an easy way to lose this game is to flood and have them just answer a couple Planeswalkers. Especially if they're a control deck. Basic Swamp. Basic Swamp, go. That's strange. Normally I would have to think about what Basic Swamp they played to have a guess whether or not they're 8-rack or something else, but 8-rack decks have so many 1-mana plays that I doubt they would not have one, at least on a 7-card hand that they kept. So what other deck has a fair number of Basic Swamps? Like there are decks that have one, things like Jund, or I guess like Hollow One or Mardu Pyromancer. They both have, I think, 2 in most lists. They could have just started on Swamp Go, especially if they're Hollow One and they have like Goblin Lore here. Dragon Skull Summit. Well, looks like our opponent is doing something weird. Bloodghast. That's a thing. So Bloodghast is pretty good against us. We don't have a lot of exile removal. The paths are in the board, but getting into the trial should hold it back pretty well. I don't think Blood Moon is actually going to be very good in this matchup, given that they led on Basic Swamp and they're also a red deck. So I think I'm going to prioritize doing other things rather than maybe inconveniencing them with Blood Moon, because there is a decent chance that Blood Moon doesn't really do anything against them. And I just wasted my 3rd turn. Here, like, they might play another creature that I can maybe Wrath away. Hopefully I find another red source. That was one of the reasons I binned the Field of Ruin, because if I don't Blood Moon on 3, then it still doesn't cast Chandra, but I've drawn on other planes. There are not a lot of red sources in this deck, a lot of basic planes because of the Blood Moon, so Chandra might be a little tough to cast. We'll see. Still not sure what our opponent's doing. Okay, they're a mono-black Devotion deck somehow splashing red. What would they be splashing red for? Not sure, but Nykthos definitely gives you an idea of what they're doing, and it does mean that I'm probably going to want to get the Blood Moon down, because that means they're going to have a lot of black symbols in their deck, so actually cutting them off of these black sources is pretty important. So unless they do something I absolutely have to respond to, I'm going to be playing Blood Moon this turn. Okay. And there is another red source, which is nice. No play from them is a bit strange. You'd think a Devotion deck probably has a lot of cheap permanents to build Devotion. So on 3 mana, 7-card hand, feels like they should have had something. Maybe they just have a lot of triple black cards in their hand, which are all messengers and stuff, that the Nykthos stop them from casting. But this Blood Moon actually should do a lot of work. I don't know how good it's going to be in the post-Sideboard games. It depends how many lands they have for this splash. Because I imagine this deck has a lot of basic swamps in it. Like double-digit basic swamps. Or maybe not. Especially if there's like they have Blood Crypt, yeah, they might have a bunch of fetch lands. So Blood Moon might just be really good. They are now casting something. What could it be? I imagine it's a 4-drop of some kind. But if it's a Devotion deck with Nykthos, their 4-drop is probably Phyrexian Obliterator, which they are very far away from casting. Most creatures I don't really care about because I'm about to play a second Gideon. I'm probably Gideon Jura next turn +2. Then if I draw another land in the next 2 turns, I can follow that up with Chandra plus make mana into Wrath and have 3 Planeswalkers on the battlefield against no creatures. So that's pretty cool. Okay, they have a K command. That makes sense, I guess. I'm just going to discard the planes. I can play Chandra next turn instead of Gideon. And that'll be fine. That K command isn't really doing anything. Oh, now I can still play Gideon Jura if I want to, but I don't really see the point. So let's deal him 2 damage. That Anger would actually be good against Bloodghast. I guess, yeah, I do have Angers in the main, so Bloodghast's not a huge issue. Anger and Gideon and cast out, and then pass on the board. Ended Urza's Ruinous Blast. Yeah, there's a fetch land, so they're definitely splashing red, and we've seen a red card on the splash, which makes some sense. K command is like a removal spell that can help you get Devotion by rebuying a creature. And the fetch lands are good with Bloodghast anyway, but does make them a lot weaker to Blood Moon. If their deck was just 20 swamps for Nykthos, it would be a lot better here. This Blood Moon is working them over real nice. So, hit a land, that's fine. It's 16. And yeah. Let's just get this Gideon down. We should just kill them in 2 turns. So many Planeswalkers. This deck is fun. I guess any deck is fun when your opponent just doesn't do anything. They played a Bloodghast that hasn't attacked or blocked the entire game. And they played a K command that made me discard planes and shocked my Gideon. Yeah. So no real resistance there from our opponent. And how do I want to play this? I definitely want Paths, because I assume their deck has Geralf's Messenger and Phyrexian Obliterator. The Path is good against all of those things. Is Rest in Peace good? They have Bloodghast, K command, and Geralf's Messenger. Rest in Peace could be good. Blessed Alliance seems rather poor. I do think this Lyra is going to be good. Anger is probably really good. I don't think Wrath of God is going to be that good. I'd rather have the Sweepers that exile. And kind of want to try 1 Rest in Peace, and I don't mind trimming a Blood Moon. Oh, this Glorious End can get out of here. Okay. Won't play a second Rest in Peace. I do think Rest in Peace is going to be pretty good. So, is it? We've just boarded out Wrath of Gods and Blessed Alliance. So now my removal suite is pretty heavily slanted towards exile effects. I have 11 removal spells that exile and just the 4 helixes that don't. And I guess Chandra and Gideon Jura. What am I going to play instead if I don't bring these rest in pieces in? Sweet does not seem good. Jaya. Sure, let's try Jaya. Why not? And I guess I'll just play the Blood Moon. I actually, even though they are a virtually monocolor deck, I actually don't think they have a lot of basics, and they need a lot for their deck to function. So let's just Blood Moon them. Okay, well, we got early plays. Turn 3 is kind of early for us. We can scry for a removal spell if we need one. Yeah, seems like a keep to me. And we have 2 basic planes to play through our own Blood Moon. There's 1 non-basic. Blood Moon already looking good. If they have something like Inquisition into creature, could be in rough shape. But nope. No turn 1 play again from them. You can bottom that. If they're a Devotion deck, you really want to get onto the battlefield quickly to use Nykthos, and they just haven't done that in either games. See if they can go 2-drop, 3-drop here. Okay, so they do have a Thoughtseize. Either they drew that turn or they were waiting on it. Usually smart to wait on it if you're not using your mana elsewhere. Unsurprisingly, they take the Gideon that as like the cheapest threat we can play. They could have taken Chandra. I guess they thought Gideon was better. Once again, Nykthos, so no triple black card here possible. And they're down to 1 swamp, so let's play Bloodghast. Okay. Well, this time their Bloodghast is going to get to attack at least once. We'll see if they have a second basic swamp. Otherwise, this Blood Moon is probably going to take over the game. Unfortunately for them, I had 2 copies. Dragon Skull Summit. This looks like a carbon copy of last game, except they had a Thoughtseize. Now, they haven't seen this in Nahiri, so this one's going to be pretty good. I guess they could have a removal spell for their Bloodghast. Nope. And we will very quickly ramp up this Nahiri to Emrakul. Ooh, second basic swamp. We're in some sort of business now. Kalitas. Well, unfortunately, they know I have a Chandra. So I don't know what that is going to do. Let's discard this superfluous copy of Blood Moon. I don't think the red-black deck is going to have an answer. Definitely won't have an answer in time. Move up this path and just kill their Kalitas with Chandra. Kalitas not a very good card against me with so few creatures. They have a lightning bolt, so they're going to get to deal with the Chandra. Okay, maybe I was supposed to path. They could have bolted my Nahiri last turn. I guess they knew I had Chandra, and they were more concerned about that one. Well, now we're definitely not out of the woods. Down to 1 Planeswalker here. If they have like a Dreadbore or something. Okay, they have Inquisition for my path to exile. I was going to say, if they followed it up with Dreadbore for this Nahiri, we might be in trouble. And we would be in a top deck war where all our cards are live and not as many of theirs are. This is another red card they're splashing for, which, I don't know, doesn't strike me as great in the deck. But I haven't seen a lot of the decks, so. And yes. Ooh, Simian Spirit Guide, get in there. We can call on you. Doubt it lives, but if it does, it'll attack for 4 over the next 2 turns, and that will be lethal with an Emrakul that I can find with Nahiri in 2 turns. Otherwise, I'll just wait until I'm on 10 loyalty and Nahiri. Okay, Sign and Blooding himself. Now I just need 1 attack in to make the Emrakul lethal. No land drop. So 4 spells. I hope they're good. And plus. See if we can find another threat here. Okay, that's fine. Mush you for 2, and they'll be at 14, facing down an Emrakul. But again, if they do have a Dreadbore or some other direct answer to Nahiri, we could be in trouble. Because they can reasonably function with 2 swamps. And they have more gas left in their hand. So it looks like a K command. And just hold off the Nahiri for 1 turn. Not the best. That's the situation they're in. They're going to have to spew a ton of value just keeping this Nahiri from ultimating. Not even clear that they'll have Dreadbore or something like that in their deck when we've already seen Thoughtseize, Inquisition, Lightning Bolt, and Sign and Blood for spells. And K command. Okay, yeah. Get back their Kalitas. Suggest their hand is not very good because their hand is kind of clogged. So I think they'd rather discard a card from my hand rather than get another card in theirs and strain their mana even further. But it must mean that the Kalitas is particularly important. Yeah, I guess we'll just discard another Nahiri. Wish for 2. Maybe I'm supposed to save that in case they do have Dreadbore. Arena, wow, that's an interesting one. Kind of cool with Kalitas. Thoughtseize, that's fine. Probably take the Helix. Yeah. Please don't Dreadbore my Nahiri. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Nope. Okay. Let's -8 and find this Emrakul. And attack. No permanents. They did get me to 18. How did they get me to 18? Oh, yeah, they attacked with the Bloodghast. So not quite a flawless victory there. Almost. Very, very close. I guess they had cards in their hand, too. But pretty dominating performance from the deck. Blood Moon was overperforming against a nearly monocolor deck. Really sort of 2-color. And but because they're so heavy black, we really punished them for the splash. Just pretty easily able to deal with whatever threats they got out onto the battlefield beforehand. And I think a lot of people, when they try mono black devotion decks in Modern, they make the mistake of going off of the template of mono black devotion when it was in Standard during Theros. And the reality is that mono black devotion deck from Standard was not really a devotion deck in the same way like mono blue was. It was just a mid-range deck, but black had so many good cards you didn't really need another color. And sometimes it flashed white or green, but you just had enough good cards in black that you didn't need to play them, and the incentive to be mono black was getting to play Mutavault. But really a true devotion deck, and one that wants to use Nykthos, which the mono black decks ended up not doing, wants a lot of cheap creatures as opposed to cheap interaction, because you want to increase the total number of permanents in the game, because your synergies then will overpower whatever your opponent's doing, whereas mono black was more like, and standard was more like a Jund deck, trying to limit the number of resources each player has so that their synergies don't get off the ground, and then play individually powerful threats like Pack Rat and Desecration Demon, things like that. So I really think if you want to play Mono Black Devotion in Modern, you have to look towards cards like Gravecrawler and Bloodghast and Dread Wanderer and Geralf's Messenger, and be this aggressive deck, kind of in the vein of, or in the template of Mono Blue, as opposed to Mono Black from the old Theros standard. So my opponent didn't do that, had a lot of reactive cards. They were not able to get onto the battlefield very quickly, so Blood Moon punished them. I was able to clean up whatever they had and then easily win when they're completely gimped and I'm casting Planeswalkers and drawing extra cards and putting Emeralds into play. So pretty easy match for this one. Pretty good showing for the red-white control deck, and hope you enjoyed watching it. You can come back and see me on Monday. Bye.